Everybody, and welcome to my channel. You see the bandana is placed different on my head because I'm starting a new series, and I don't know how long this series is going to go. It's Suburban Survival. Let me explain a little bit what you're going to be seeing in my upcoming videos. A lot of things happening in our economy and our world, and I felt that it's time for me to share with you a different side of Homestead Tessie. I am your average housewife. I am a middle-aged woman. I am overweight, but I have a lot of knowledge, strength, and skill. I have been waiting a long time to share these videos with you because I think in turn you're going to learn something from them, and maybe you're just going to be entertained. When I make my videos, I always like to film right on my location. I really don't like to share with you what's around me. That's because of the respect of others. Plus, I want to give you a video of just my homestead. But today, at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you the broader picture of where I live. Because I have to make videos 6 days a week, because of the size of my channel and the small amount of money that YouTube pays me, I'm only going to be making maybe 2 of these videos a week on suburban survival. Let me explain some more. Coming November, I think that we're going to experience some things that we've never experienced before. I think things are going to get tough. This is not going to be doom and gloom at all. In fact, this is going to be very entertaining, and I hope that you guys get something out of these videos. But let's give a scenario. In November, let's just say our president wins. If our president wins, then there's going to be a lot of liberals who are going to be upset, and it's going to cause a lot of chaos in our nation. If our president doesn't win, there's going to be a lot of people upset, and it's going to cause chaos in our nation. I don't see it as a win-win situation. I do not talk politics on my channel, and never have and never will. And I will not accept politic comments. But I'm just telling you in general, I feel no matter what happens, we're going to be in for some shakiness in our nation. So what does a middle-aged woman like me, who is in suburbia, what am I going to do? I know the bandana like this is for dramatization and to make it look a little more pizzazz. But really, what do we do? I'm going to share with you scenarios. Now, they're going to be dramatizations, and so it's going to be kind of cheesy, some of them. But I hope you understand, and I hope you get the meaning by it. And I hope you learn something through it. I'm going to tell you about scenarios if you don't have medicine and things happen. What happens if you have to go to the bathroom and the electricity is out? What do you do if you can't find canning jars and canning lids anymore, and you got to preserve your food? I'm going to share all these things because I have 30 years of knowledge. I kept a lot of these things hidden. I didn't really share a whole bunch on my channel. Through the years, I've shared little bits and pieces of things, but I really want to get down to the nitty-gritty of it. Will these videos be popular? I don't know. Will they be a failure and a flop? I don't know. But through it all, I want to share with you the lessons that I have learned and ways to think outside the box in this kind of environment. Channels talk about bugging out, you know, preparing to leave your home and to get your backpack ready. I don't believe in bugging out whatsoever. I don't believe in bugging out. I don't think bugging out would do any good to anybody. I think being in your own environment is the safest place to be, if at all possible. But what do you do when you don't have acres of land and you're not secluded somewhere? I mean, shelter in place when you live in suburbia? How can you do all that? I'm here to share with you how. Because I've been practicing and practicing and practicing all kinds of different scenarios. Now, as you know, some of my videos are going to be very different. And I'm also going to tell in the title that it's survival. Also going to share with you warnings, or I'm going to share with you before I start doing things, this is what the video is about. If my channel would ever grow, that it would be bigger, that I wouldn't have to do a video every day, I probably would do them every other day and have even more better content. Because the videos on survival are going to be so labor intensive, at this point, I can only do maybe 2 or 3 of them a week, but they're going to be very interesting. I never showed you before my whole environment, and I never shared with you really where I live. So I'm not urban, I'm rural in a way, but I'm more suburban, and I'll show you why. Good, let me show you what is my property and what are my surroundings. 1 acre lot. And I don't ever film other people's houses, at least I try not to, simply because out of privacy. But I'm just going to show you real quick that I don't live secluded whatsoever. I have a beautiful backdrop to my home, But right here is another house. Up there is a house. I have a house right across from me. I have a neighbor right beside me. These are parts of my videos I really never shared because I didn't see a need to it. But if we're going to be talking about survival and a survival situation in suburbia, I think it's good for you to know what I live in and what I have to work with. I have a 1 acre property, but we have a house right directly across from me. I live in an old development. Of course, you see my garden and you see my home and you see all the things that I've done. I'm the only one here in this development or this neighborhood that lives this way. Ten years ago when we got this property, the property was unlivable. This was all lawn. This was no homesteading property whatsoever. But I turned it into that because this is the life I wanted to live. But directly across from me, I'll show you just for a second, there are other homes. Now I bet you're wondering, does anybody know that I have a YouTube channel in my neighborhood? I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. It's kind of hard to hide the fact that I'm talking to myself and have a camera pointed at all directions. I'm sure you know by now that my neighbors, they do know I have a YouTube channel. So my neighbors know I have a YouTube channel. I don't know how many of them watch me or if any of them watch me at all. But my neighborhood is what I would call lower income neighborhood. And so the things that I do, I don't think seem so strange to them. I kind of blend in. You know, it's not like I live in a new development or a new neighborhood. The neighborhood is extremely old. So I'm choosing this time in my life to share with you all these things. And I think that you're going to learn a lot. Like I said, they're very labor intensive. I'm going to be explaining a lot of things. And so I really want you to take a pen and paper and I really want you to write some things down. I'm going to share with you suburbia and suburbia prepping and challenges that we face. Not just your everyday challenges. What about nuclear? What about nuclear war? How are we going to handle that? What do you do if all of a sudden you have the sirens go off? What do you do if you don't have medication and you need medication for some things? I'm going to put disclaimers, I'm going to put advisories on everything because I want to just share with you things you can do, the typical person like me. I'm really excited about sharing these kind of videos with you because I've been reading, I've been studying for 30 years because it is an interest of mine. And up until now, I was just kind of a little bit nervous about sharing them because I am eccentric. I've always been told I was eccentric. I've always been told I was different. I've always been told that I'm really unusual. And even though I'm going to be acting, some of it is going to be acting. So I want you to understand, some of it's going to be acting. I'm going to tell you it's a scenario. I'm going to wake up in the morning and have different scenarios that happen. Listen, whoever thought a year ago that we would face some of the things we faced already? And who knows what another year will be? And I think all of these lessons are lessons that they don't expire. So in 10 years from now, if something happens, this is not going to expire. It's not going to be old news or old lessons. They're going to be lessons for all of us to learn. And that's why I really recommend that you have books. We want to have hard copies because we are in a digital age. And if electricity runs out, we don't have internet and routers. What are you going to do if you don't have the internet? What will you do with all these things? So I am so super duper excited. So this is the introduction. I'm just explaining a little bit. So when all of a sudden you start seeing these videos pop up, you're not like, what the world? What channel am I on? I'm going to keep some of my videos the same, but they're going to be geared to survival. Thrift store survival. Can I go to the thrift store while it's still open and buy things for survival? And survival when you don't have money. You know, a lot of big YouTube channels, they can go out and spend $1,000 on solar equipment and $1,000 on generators and $1,000 on all these new gadgets. I don't have that kind of money. I don't have money to buy anything but we're going to use old school. We're going to the Great Depression. We're going to use tips and tricks from years gone by. That means it's more labor intensive. That means you have to get out and do things. That means you have to use your muscles. I know not all of you can do that, but I think those of you who don't choose to do any of this will find it very entertaining, because it's going to be a story. It's going to be a storybook of Homestead Tessie, suburban survival. So get ready, everybody. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. There's nothing negative going to be about it, and that's the difference with me. So many channels, I explored a lot of channels. They will talk negative. Oh, it's the end of the world and doomsday, and oh, the world is awful, and famine and depression, and it's so depressing to watch it. Who wants to watch stuff like that? Who wants to just think about that? Who wants to go to bed at night and that's the last thing they think about? Mine is going to be exciting, adventurous. It's going to be uplifting, even though I'm talking about survival and really bad situations. But I'm going to talk about it in a way that your perspective is going to be so much different when you watch my videos. It's going to be like, hey, I can do that. Hey, wait, I can do that where I live, or I might be able to do that. It's going to be so much different. So I'm really excited. I hope you guys are on board with it. It's going to be a passion of mine and something I'm going to really enjoy. And I'm just going to keep those videos coming. My mind is in a whirl. I couldn't sleep last night. I have about 20 videos in mind already. And get ready. Fasten those seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride, but you know what? It's going to be a ride with a smile on our face, because it's going to be an adventure like we've never had before. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. And that's a promise. If you like survival videos, here's a blast from the past. Here's my playlist of all kinds of survival videos. And get ready for 2020 for new survival videos coming your way.